Is it still not showing?
No, we can see it, Shannon. I think we're okay. Good evening, guys. We're going to give it like another minute. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome. I guess you guys can see tonight's quote, which I thought was kind of apropos for what we're going to do this evening. Tonight, we're going to be looking at some clips, and we have the luxury of playing these clips in live speed and in slow motion more than once. And more than anything, we have the knowledge of knowing when we are watching that something is about to happen at a particular place and in a particular time. That is not a luxury that exists for the guys out on the field. So I think we've got some great clips and some great quality. As always, on behalf of NILOA, I would like to thank USA Lacrosse and specifically Shannon Minter for her time, expertise, and most important, for her commitment to trying to make it right. So now, without further ado, here's Tom Abbott, the National Coordinator of Officials, and Brian Abbott, the NILOA Director of Education and Training. Take it away, guys.
Good evening, everybody. Back by popular demand from our annual meeting is You Make the Call, and we got our team of Tom Abbott and Rob Gross. Let's get to it, man.
Thanks, BA. As PJ was saying, we know that this exercise is not how we live in the real world. This is a luxury to be able to watch, react, think, talk about things, and slow motion. So again, to piggyback on what PJ was saying, this is tough. This is not easy, but it's our job. And I'm confident that everybody here, when your video is available of your previous game, you can watch it. You watch it, see what happens. We're in a position here to take some plays in some very difficult situations and use them as a great education tool. So thank you for your patience and thank you for your understanding that this is a very tough situation that we're trying to navigate through. And it's easy to do it from our laptops and our chairs. One thing I think we can do to try to mimic what we do with the national media, everybody has guys who they talk to or guys that they, on the way to a game or on the way back from a game. If you want to text a guy during this and have a quick discussion or have your phone open and speaker and talk to a guy about the play, that's what we're doing. We're in the car talking to each other about our plays anyway, right? So let's try not to do this in a bubble if we can. Tom, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, in addition to that, Robbie, we want to make sure that everybody understands, like all the videos that we show, whether you made the right call, the wrong call, whatever call you made, or no call, we're not trying to embarrass anybody. We're trying to do this so that we all get better. And I think a couple of these clips are right calls. A couple of them may not be, but that's okay. What we want to do is try to make sure that from this point forward that we're doing it the way we think we should be doing it and the way that we're going to be directed to do it. So just keep that in mind. We're going to bounce back and forth a little bit. Robbie's going to show, actually Shannon's going to show the video a couple times. Then you're going to see a screen for answers. We'll discuss some of those answers. Then there'll be a poll that we can take. You guys can put your answers in, and then we'll discuss what we feel is the right answer at the end. So that's the game plan for these 4 clips. Then there'll be a little bit of discussion at the end of it on a couple other items. So Robbie, go ahead.
Thank you. Shannon, if we could watch the first clip, please. Shannon, if we could see that a second time, please. Okay, hopefully you've been able to have a discussion with somebody or see it a few times by yourself. We're not going to give you as much time as we do in December because we want to make sure everybody stays on time here. So we'll give you the answers here as soon as they're ready.
Hopefully you guys can read that all right. Got 5 answers up there now. A is push on the blue, 30-second foul. Answer B is illegal body check on the blue, 1-minute foul. Answer C is a 30-second push on the blue and a 1-minute unsportsmanlike conduct foul on the shooter. D is a 1 minute on the blue and a 1-minute unsportsmanlike on the shooter. This would be 1 and 1. And letter E is 1 minute on the blue and a 2-minute foul on the shooter.
Shannon, let's go ahead.
5 options to look at.
Guys, you can go in on the poll, you can click on clip 1, and you can vote. Wow. Look at all you guys voting.
About another 10 seconds, guys. Shannon, whenever you feel you're ready, we'll be good for the answers. So it looks like the majority said C. And we're spread out amongst the others, but the majority say C, which is the 30-second push on blue, the 1-minute unsportsmanlike conduct on the shooter, and blue ball. Tom?
Yeah, that seems to be the correct answer. This clip was sent to me by the coach from Duke. He had a question amongst his staff. This happens a lot in our game where I get film clips from coaches who've had a discussion amongst themselves and they aren't sure exactly how a play should be called. So they asked whether or not it should be one way or another way. I sent it to several officials and several RAs to discuss it. It pretty much was unanimous that C is the answer. We felt that the push was clearly a push on the player in blue. As the offensive player in white caught the ball, he had a pretty good option to maybe try and get upfield, but was immediately shut off by the defender. The defender continued to push him, hold him with the cross as he tried to go to the cage. And at the last second, you can see in slow motion, the player chose a bad path, went straight at the goalie's legs. Possible result was an injury. Thankfully, that didn't happen. So we need to have, as I said earlier in the season, we're going to have this play come back because offensive players are now going to take a path that we think they would not have taken last year or maybe the year before. This was a good example of it. There are a couple others that I've seen this week as well. So we need to make sure that we're still calling the foul on the offensive guy who dives into the goal mouth and makes contact with the goalkeeper. If you want to go 1 minute and 2 minutes, I think you're okay with that, but I don't think the first foul is more than a 30-second push. 30 seconds on blue, a minute on white, and restart the ball with the team with lesser time.
Thank you, Shannon. I think we're ready for clip 2, please. I know that was wide. We have a better look coming up.
See if we can show it a second time.
Okay, Shannon, if we could see the answers, please. So A is ball is in the goal before the shooter contacts the crease. That's a good goal. B is shooter makes contact with the goal mouth. No goal. C is a push with possession by the defender. We have a good goal, all even in a face-off. And D is 1 minute unsportsmanlike conduct on the shooter. No goal. Defense awarded the ball at midfield. Let's go ahead and open that poll, please, Shannon. About another 10 seconds, please. Shannon, whenever you feel we are ready for the answers, please go ahead and show those. All right, we have a wide range here. C has the most with push with possession by the defender, good goal and all even. Let's have a face-off. Next highest is B, the shooter makes contact with the goal mouth, no goal. So it looks like at least 3/4 of the guys fell into those two. Tom, why don't you go ahead and tell us the difference that you see between B and C on this play?
My take on this, Robbie, is that it's hard to look at from up above, from the Starship Enterprise, the first part of it, but you get a good view of it from the Jumbotron. My take was that there probably wasn't much of a push on this one. And obviously the player does land in the goal mouth. There's not a lot of contact with the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper stands or comes out to approach the goal mouth, the edge of the goal mouth and where it meets the crease. As the player lands in, he's going to touch at least the edge of that goal mouth area. So we can't have a goal unless there's a foul. So the question is there a flag on this one? I did not see one. My own personal belief is I think the referees were in good position, just like they were in the first clip. Sometimes it's hard to see it as you're coming from behind the players looking for foul. My take was we had a shooter that made contact with the goal mouth, so it's no goal. But if you have a flag on it and there's a push with possession, the answer would then be C.
Great. Thanks, Tom. All right, Shannon, I think we're good for clip 3, please. And if we could get that one more time, please, Shannon.
Guys, I've gotten about the same question 4 or 5 times. It is not possible to keep the answers up when we vote, but we will leave the answers up longer so that you can make your decision and just remember what letter you choose and then vote.
Shannon, if we could see those answers, please.
Leave them up for a little while so that everybody can read them. Please.
So A is a crease violation. B, 30-second push on the defender. Give the ball to the offense in the alley. C is a woman unsportsmanlike conduct on the shooter. D, 30-second push on the defender. 1 minute unsportsmanlike conduct on the shooter. Ball to the defense. Go ahead and decide which letter you're going to vote.
This one's a little different than the last one we had. Very similar, though.
All right, Shannon, if we could go ahead and start that poll, please. Shannon, when you're ready, if we could have those results, please. All right, I know this one was a little more challenging with the eye in the sky. It's a football coach's dream video, but not really the best for crease play. But it looks like more than half chose crease violation and just went the other way with it. We were pretty spread out on whether there was a foul or not on that play. So, Tom, A seems to be the winner, and we'll get your take on it.
Yeah, Robbie, this one is a little more defined than the one we had previously. Again, the guys are in pretty good position. The offensive player makes an inside dodge and basically gets all on him. He ends up in the goal mouth area, definitely in the crease area and in the goal mouth area. So we have a crease violation. The guys, half the crew got it right. Had there been a potential for a push there, there probably was. Hard to tell from way up above. The one thing that I noticed about this clip, however, is that we had a pretty poor restart on it. The ball pops out after a save or wherever it came from, and now we've got a defensive player picking the ball up, even while the lead official, is still making his signal for a crease violation. By the time we actually blow the whistle, he's almost to the restraining line. So I would behoove all of you guys to make sure this is the one time that we can do game management. Beep, 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 blow the whistle, get them back towards the goal area where the ball was when we stopped play. Have a proper restart. Let's not be in a rush. but the play itself was a crease violation, and let's make sure we just get the restart in the right area. Please don't rush. We get issues with restarts. We talked about it the last time we had our director's call with films. Restarts that are rushed get us in nowhere except deep water. So take your time with them.
Thank you. Shannon, the last clip, please.
In quarter number 3. Pod goes tumbling to the ground. That's a penalty against the Orange.
That's going to go against Landon Clarius.
2 for 30 seconds, now 1.
Said cross-check to the head. I mean,
Apparently this clip has audio, I should say. We can see that one more time, please. We know the announcer's call.
Yes, we do.
In quarter number 3. Pod goes tumbling to the ground. That's a penalty against the Orange.
That's going to go against Landon Clarius.
2 for 30 seconds, now 1.
Said cross-check to the head. I mean,
Shannon, if we could have those answers, please. So we're going to cross-check for 1 minute. Cross-check with indirect contact, 1 minute non-releasable, and a cross-check direct contact, 2 minute non-releasable. Leave those up for a little while.
Hopefully we don't let the announcers influence us. They usually don't. I usually mute them, just so you guys know. I watch games and I mute them. This one is pretty standard for what we have been talking about most of the year.
Shannon, if we could activate that poll, please. Go ahead and get those votes in. Shannon, whenever you are ready, if we could have those answers. All right, looks like 3/4. Indirect contact, 1 minute non-releasable. Few people said standard run-of-the-mill cross-check, and few people, well, 1 out of 5 said 2 minutes. We didn't have answer D, which was no call. That's the good news. So, Tom, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, this one's classic indirect contact. We've been talking about it all year. Started upper body area, shoulder area, slid up high, caught him in the back of the neck. Classic indirect. Had he followed through farther and finished him off, I would go with 2 minutes and lock him in. But 1 minute locking him in is the call. I think for the most part, it took us the first few weeks to get used to this. I think now we're doing a better job of it. Keep working in that direction. You guys are doing a good job of deciphering what we're trying to do here to get the checks lower, and teams are doing a better job of getting their defenders to stay lower, which is not an easy task. So this is a classic cross-check with an indirect contact and a 1 minute non-releasable foul.
Thank you, Shannon. You can unshare now if you'd like. And guys, it's no coincidence that the clips tonight are crease and head and neck contact. These are some of the most difficult parts of the game, and they happen very quickly. And I think the more video study that we all get in, the better we are prepared for those bang, instant decisions that we know we make on a weekly basis. So I want to thank everybody for their patience and time. Tom, I know you have some things you'd like to add.
Yeah, Robbie, PJ, are there any questions that you may have seen come up at all?
Nothing that was not covered by you in your explanations.
Got it.
Um,
Thanks.
I think that you've been very clear several times over the last couple of weeks that the part of the rule as it relates to path has not been removed, and path still matters.
Yep. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. We're going to have, for those of you who are on RefQuest, we're going to have this this video. Actually, was one of these clips will be out tonight or tomorrow morning. I had it done. We had it done earlier in the week. I held it off because I wanted to make sure that we all saw it on our presentation tonight and got a chance to talk about it. But that'll be out on RefQuest tomorrow. Again, there's no reason to be embarrassed if you're in a clip and didn't have the right call. It is what it is. What I'm trying to do, to be honest with you, is if you have clips that are difficult to make. I did talk to a couple of other officials over the weekend. We had a play where a player came from behind, lead right, it came to lead right side, lead right. The player dove, the offensive player got in, basically the defensive guys were hung up. He drove bench side to where lead right would be able to see it. He dove, launched himself pretty well in the air, scored, made contact with the pipe, and landed between the pipe and the official who could see the play. Where he landed was questionable because nobody can see it. Single on the other side was blocked by the goaltender and a defenseman and a crease player. Trail may have been able to help on it, but it was counted as a good goal, and the official said to me, I have no clue as lead right where that player landed. So what I'm trying to do is take clips like that where we have a tough time seeing them and be able to build a case for replay. I know the NCAA doesn't want it at this time, but we have it in other sports, and my concern is that we need to get these right. The other part of this is with the indirect, direct, and excessive contact. We had a couple of plays over the last few weeks where we've had some calls that have been tough to make, and no chance to replay them like they do in all the other sports, football in particular. So long story short, if you have a clip that you think we can use for building a case for replay and some parameters for it, let me know. Let Brian know. We'll try to put these things together and see if we can do something to make a case for replay down the road. Two other minor items. I had some information relayed to me earlier this week with regards to questions regarding particular face-off models of sticks that are prevalent that may not be exactly straight sticks or cambered shafts. And the question asked of me was, how come we don't have a tabletop test as part of our standard procedure for stick checks? I don't know how many of you have ever done a tabletop test. The only time I ever did it was when the rule first came out, so I could see exactly what we were talking about. I don't believe I've ever seen one. I don't think others that I've talked to haven't done one, but I want you to make sure that you read Rule 119, AR 15 on page 16. It tells you how to conduct a tabletop test and what the parameters are for that. That may be something that you may see later in the year, and someone's going to request that you do a tabletop test. If a coach asks for that check, he wants number 10 stick done, and he wants it specifically to have that test done, then you're going to do it. Standard stick check is not going to be done because that's our choice as to who we take. But if a coach requests it and wants it, make sure you know how to do it. Lastly, we also had some coaches sending out some film to officials so far this year prior to your contest with whatever teams were involved. Make sure that your RAs or your local assigners for Division 2 and 3 conference assigners know that a coach has sent film clips to you and that the protocol is not for them to be able to do that. They're to contact their assigners or myself or the RAs to relay the information to whatever particular game that might be involved. So if you get something from a coach, make sure you let somebody know. Outside of that, I'm really happy with the way the season's going. I can guarantee you that we're going to have to buckle it up down the stretch because these teams are really good and they're all close, outside of a couple that maybe look like front runners in some areas. But D3, I don't see a front runner. D1, I see maybe one or two, but the rest of them are all equal. When we get into conference play, it's going to be wild. So be ready down the stretch and get buckled up and be ready to go. That's all I have, unless Brian or somebody's got something else.
Good luck this weekend. Run your tails off and have a great time, and we'll be getting back with you soon. Have a good evening.
Good night, guys. Take care.
Good night, guys.